technical, of course, you wouldn't expect a sociologist to say too much technical about roads. Though he does mention one or two interesting things about asphalt. You can skip over that bit, actually. But I advise you all to get hold of the book and read it. If you want to buy my copy, it's good. I was going to say it's going cheap, but it's going actually very expensive because it's been handled by me. You can tell by the thumbprints on it and the jam. Now, what he says about it is really quite interesting. It's a social history. It tells us how highways have affected our lives and how their acceptability has changed, as you've possibly noticed, during the motor age. It's hard to remember now, in the period of anti-road zealotry, that when the M1 was being built, the inhabitants of nearby villages used to come out bringing their deck chairs and picnic baskets and camp by the side of the M1 watching this miracle being built in front of their very eyes. After that, they did digging tunnels and trying to stop road. that was later on. But the roads have got all sorts of uses, which some of which are quite peculiar. And I found in consulting this volume here, there were a couple of zoologists at Oxford University, whose names I didn't trouble you with, who studied, among other things, homing pigeons. And they discovered that homing pigeons don't fly straight home as a crow flies. Yeah. Incidentally, they also discovered that the crows don't fly straight home either. Very dangerous pigeons. What they found was that the homing pigeons actually followed the road network. And they used the roads much in the same way as we do, with their A to Z held in their hand, and they got from place to place, and they turned right, and they went round the roundabout, and they got home eventually. That was it. So it was rather, incidentally, in the very early days of aviation in this country, when Graham White and people of that sort were flying up and down Britain, they actually followed the railway lines. Yeah. So they were no homing pigeons in a way. However, what I find interesting about thinking about roads is, despite all the general hubbub and bother, you remember people like Swampbeard, people hanging from trees like Tarzan, trying to prevent progress being allowed to progress. Despite all that, the road system has always sort of bedded down into the ecology, really. In fact, one of the things that's very difficult to explain to an environmentalist is that a road system or a motorway system is actually part of the environment. It isn't something imposed on the environment. They think it's imposed on the landscape, which it is. It usually improves the landscape, by the way. But that's one of our problems to get.
Challenge, sir.
Was that Alistair Darling?
That was excellent.
Alistair needs all the advice. I thought perhaps in desperation he might have come to the last you never can tell. So there we are. Is there anything else I've got to say here that makes any sense? That's right. He reminds us that it's very fond of a road across the Pennines, out of Manchester, which was designed by a fairly recent and reputable roadway designer, Thomas Telford. And he remarks how it just looks as if it had always been there anyway. And there's somebody, it was a vicar, once remarked, if God hadn't meant us to have roads, he would never have given us little chefs. That really is enough for me. I've put these notes away, largely because I'm unable to read them anyway. I've never really got into the habit of reading notes. This is why I did so badly at the university. So it is my great pleasure. Let me say one thing about your change of name. A great many institutions and other public bodies of one sort or other change their name. They usually change it to something incomprehensible, like Diageo or Unitas or something. At least your change of name gives some indication of what you actually do. I congratulate you on having the good sense to change your name as little as possible. And with that, I have great pleasure in declaring this ship.
Thank you.